Donald Trump has proposed Scott Bessent as the new Secretary of the Treasury of the United States of America. This decision has raised many questions among American citizens and even those outside the country. What makes him the ideal candidate for this position, according to Donald Trump? What is his connection to George Soros? Has he always been a Republican? Is he qualified to be the new Secretary of the Treasury? Will his past influence his decisions positively or negatively? In this video, we will examine his professional career and some more personal aspects to better understand who he is. Scott Bessent was born in South Carolina, United States, and studied political science at Yale University. Even in college, he demonstrated leadership skills, serving as the treasurer of his class, editor of the university newspaper, member of the Yale Alumni Fund, and assistant to the athletic director. The first key moment in his professional career came when he joined Soros Fund Management in 1991. There, he worked alongside George Soros, managing billions of dollars in investments. In 1992, during Black Wednesday, George Soros made approximately $1 billion by shorting the British pound. Scott spent his early professional years alongside Soros, learning about the fund's aggressive strategies and high-impact financial tactics. After some setbacks, Scott founded his firm, Key Square Group, in 2015 with Michael Germino. It is a hedge fund that received early funding from George Soros and achieved significant success, managing up to $5 billion in 2023. This could be the main reason why he is seen as a good candidate by Donald Trump for the position of Treasury Secretary. But let's talk about politics, because Scott hasn't exactly been a Republican all his life. In 2000, he organized a fundraising event to support the presidential campaign of then Vice President Al Gore, a Democrat. In the following years, he donated large sums of money to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. However, starting in 2013, his political preferences shifted to the Republican Party. In 2024, he donated more than $50 million to Donald Trump's campaign. Could his political shift have something to do with Trump's selection? In fact, during the years when Scott openly supported the Democratic Party, Donald Trump himself was registered as a Democrat. There seems to be a pattern of political loyalty changes in both cases, which could suggest that Donald Trump sees a reflection of himself in Scott Bessent and trusts him. Scott Bessent is not only known for his brilliant career in finance, but also for being a trailblazer in the public sphere. Openly gay, Bessent shares his life with his partner, with whom he has 2 children. This aspect of his life makes him one of the few figures in high-ranking economic positions who represents diversity within a sector that has historically been conservative and homogeneous. However, this side of his life has also generated controversy. For some, his sexual orientation and modern family structure are signs of positive change towards diversity in politics and finance. For others, it represents a potential source of criticism in a political context still dealing with tensions around social issues. If Scott Bessent ultimately becomes Secretary of the Treasury, he could be subject to numerous influences, given his personal and professional connections and the significance of his position. First, there is the figure of George Soros, who might encourage him to implement policies that favor globalized markets, international macroeconomic stability, and measures that benefit large investment funds. On the other hand, the LGBT community and progressive movements could push him to adopt fiscal policies that favor minorities, increase equity, or address financial discrimination. Meanwhile, conservative groups within the Republican Party might pressure him to implement policies aimed at tax cuts for businesses and individuals indiscriminately, limit public spending, or reinforce economic protectionism, in line with Donald Trump's America First slogan. Scott Bessent has taken a cautious and strategic stance regarding the current economic challenges. He acknowledges that financial markets are inflated by bubbles, partly due to the expansive monetary policy of the Federal Reserve in recent years. Bessent has emphasized the importance of protecting the independence of this institution, a measure he considers crucial for maintaining long-term economic stability. Among his main concerns is the impact of structural imbalances on both the global and national economies. He has warned that correcting these distortions could lead to painful adjustments in financial markets, such as significant drops in key indices like the S&P 500. However, Bessent argues that such measures are necessary to ensure sustainable growth and strengthen the economic competitiveness of the United States in the face of international challenges. While his approach may create some short-term uncertainty, his vision is pragmatic and focused on the long term. Under his leadership, it is likely that the Department of the Treasury would prioritize fiscal and trade reforms to address economic inequalities, while reinforcing the country's ability to face future crises. His style, influenced by a successful career in global finance, promises bold decisions that could mark a turning point in U.S. economic policy. In fact, the nomination was received positively by the markets, which was reflected in U.S. bonds, whose yields fell after the announcement. Investors interpreted Scott Bessent's arrival as a signal of stability and commitment to prudent economic policies. His reputation as a strategic manager and defender of the Federal Reserve's independence generated confidence in the markets, suggesting that his tenure could strike a balanced approach between necessary reforms and long-term financial stability.
In conclusion, Scott Bessent's appointment as Secretary of the Treasury represents a blend of continuity and change in U.S. economic policy. His experience as a fund manager and his pragmatic approach position him to tackle economic challenges with a long-term vision. While his arrival was positively received by the markets, reflected in a drop in bond yields, his tenure may face pressures from various sectors, from the Republican Party to progressive movements. However, his stance on the independence of the Federal Reserve and his focus on correcting economic inequalities suggest that he will make difficult but necessary decisions for the country's future economy. Time will tell if his leadership can balance the expectations of all these influential groups, and whether he will live up to what the elected president, Donald Trump, expects from him.
So, what do you think of the appointment? Are the market reactions justified? Is he the ideal candidate for Donald Trump? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and take a look around the channel.